I'm curious, are you guys like the Impossible Missions Force where they put you together and one's Tom Cruise and one is everybody else? How did they assemble this group?
Well, I mean, it certainly feels like that sometimes, and it's not just the four of us. We were working on a ship with the very best in the world, um, both people operating the ship, filmmakers, technical people. Um, I think probably, you know, as we each pursued our own careers, people got to see the kind of things that we care about, that we're interested in doing. And the powers that be, the producers, kind of figured out what the right combination of skills was to make sure that we'd have successful missions and we'd be able to communicate that well to the world.
But then how did they pick which missions you'd go on? Because there are a lot of animals out there you could go see.
I think a lot of it comes down to, you've got not just the cream of the crop with everyone on board the Ocean Explorer, but you have BBC Studios, James Cameron, and National Geographic all coming together, putting their heads together and saying, I mean, that it doesn't get any bigger. And they're saying, what stories do we need to tell? What animals are in what places? And I guess a lot of it is planning, logistics, it's inefficient to have the ship here, then go all the way over here. And so really it's sort of like choose an area, what's in this area, who are the eminent scientists in this area that are working on these animals, what's new for them, how can we assist them? Because ultimately, there's people around the world, that are doing this science, but very often they don't have the voice to get that out into the wider world. And I think that's where this docuseries comes in.
But that ship is unbelievable. Was it
Oh,
as good in person? And that one little thing that you ride in that looks like it's something at Jurassic Park with the glass, on the outside. What is that like?
Oh, I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. So, on board the ship, we've got a helicopter, we have a deep sea robotic submarine that can go to incredible depths in the ocean. And like you saw, Bruce, we've got these two crewed submersibles. These are three-person subs that can go to 3,000, more than 3,000 feet deep. And those two subs, Nadir and Neptune, brought us to these parts of the ocean that humans basically never go to. Going inside of one is amazing. Both Aldo and I scuba dive, but when you're able to go that deep in the ocean, you're really seeing a part of the planet that humans never get to lay eyes on. And the thing that's really neat also is that acrylic sphere, it's a similar index of refraction to the water. So when you go down, you don't even see the sphere around you. It just seems like you're in this bubble of water. And
Wow.
we're going so deep that it's dark. You don't even see the light of day. So all we have is the lights of the sub, and whatever swims in front or comes into view is kind of what you're exposed to. It's an incredible feeling.
Although you're supposed to be the kind of the daredevil of all the bunch, but do you ever say, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Um, no, for sure. Above everything and underpinned everything in this series is about science. And it's not about risk taking. In my younger days, yes, it was a lot of that. But for sure in this, the last 7 or 8 years in all the jobs that I've been working on, it's much more helping scientists get into volcanoes, for example, or on the Ocean Explorer. Where it's about for me, it's about I love the logistics. I love the people because you can have all this amazing tech, but the human factors can make or break a mission. And it just takes a few nights of not sleeping well, rough seas, a tech problem. Someone's got a problem with food, and then you have a recipe for potential something happening. So for me, that I love that. I love that. When you're on board that ship, it's frenetic. Like Eric says, you can have all of these assets out. They can all be collecting data, doing science, and then in the meantime, it's some of the most elite people in the world in their fields and their subjects coming together, eating. You come down and you have breakfast with Buck, for example, who's the submersible operator who took David Attenborough down, and then you're speaking to some of the most I guess eminent scientists in the field of bioluminescence, or shark scientists. So it really, in all the things I've done in all my life, it's been one of the most influential, I think.
Well, come on, it looks like it. It looks pretty good. But Eric, do you ever say, "Oh my God, if this thing doesn't work, I am so screwed"?
I mean, absolutely. Bruce, we were going on these missions where we'd be spending day after day after day trying to find this one elusive creature or see this phenomenon that's so rare to capture. And it's very possible that we'll get that one moment of the entire mission for that episode. And if my technology or the technology that I'm supporting has a problem, that's it. And, it's not just one person, it's a 70-person crew. And not only that, a lot of times the scientist who is visiting, who's the expert in whatever we're studying, has spent their entire career getting to this moment where they may not have another opportunity. So the stakes are incredibly high. And I think one of the things that I really like about this series is that, the way that it was produced, they don't want to just have everything polished and buttoned and perfect. This is real science. The scientists are going to publish off of this. If we are successful, then that might be a huge revelation for the scientific field. If we fail, it might be that opportunity lost for real. And however it goes, it's going to be captured on camera.
So do you go with like duct tape and paper clips and things like that just in case I need to MacGyver it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, the people who
MacGyver.
know me well will call me, MacGyveneering is kind of my thing. And I mean, you'll see in some of the episodes, you can spend, all this money and time developing this pristine thing. But at the end of the day, when that one part breaks and all you have is some electrical tape that was in your backpack, that's what you've got to use. It's about improvising and, at whatever cost, making sure the mission is as likely to be successful as it can be. And that's
And
what
on
Aldo
top,
works on too. You have to be able to pivot when the moment comes.
yeah, on top of all of that, you're in the middle of the ocean. There is no backup ship. There is no
There's no
uh,
hardware store.
there's no one can come out and help you. And you have all of the best people in the world in their specific fields. But if the weather's up, the sea state changes, and there's various different bits and pieces change, then you have to flex. The mission changes, and that's real life, and that's documented in the films.
But when I watched the polar bear episode, and I thought, we're not moving fast enough with those walruses. I think we need to move a little quicker than this. Who calls that? Don't you guys say, let's run right now?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
there you
okay.
go.
The walrus thing, I think you're talking about, there's this moment we were getting into the boats, we'd been filming them, and they start surrounding it, and we're in an inflatable boat, like what's going to happen? You really have to rely on the people who are experts. I haven't spent that much time around walruses. I don't understand their behavior as well. And you know, it's about being able to kind of get a sense for what's happening in that moment in the field, trust the people you're with who know more than you do, and improvise. It definitely was an adrenaline rush, when that happened, and a lot of these other things have happened. But I always had a feeling that, we were safe, that people were,
Yeah.
you know, familiar with the risks that we were taking.
And when you're in that environment of cutting edge science and exploration, there is no room for ego. There is no room for just looking out for yourself. Every single person is there for a very specific reason. I know next to nothing about polar bears, and I'm working with the Norwegian Polar Institute guys there who know lots about it. And really, we are the conduit of taking their story and then making that relatable. And that's ultimately what the goal is to inspire the next generation of scientists, the next generation of ocean exploration folk to get out there and to protect and conserve what we already have at the minute, before we lose any more of it.
This is how you make Olympic runners. You put them near a polar bear that's supposedly sleeping, and then it wakes up and they run like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Nothing
There's a
like a little
moment.
inspiration.
Yeah, there's a
Thank you
couple of
guys
moments.
so much. I hope that you keep doing this. I hope this just wasn't six and done because it's fascinating to watch. But I like the Joker. Where does he get all those toys? I would love to have every one of those toys just to be able to play with them.
It was an honor just to be able to have a few moments out there with those pieces of equipment and that crew. It was really a life-changing experience.
Well, congratulations and thank you so much.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.